Okay, this is chapter 14. I didn't realize that I was starting a new chapter. The door at the end of the painted corridor opens not into another hallway, but into a small room, dark, rich and quiet, but strange, everything just a little bit off. The art on the walls doesn't quite go together for one thing, a landscape, an oil painting of some ducks, a big modern canvas. It is art that has been bought in bulk and arranged to suit a color scheme, which in this room is grey, green, chocolate brown. There is little memo pad on the desk, like something you keep next to the phone, and a bottle of water with a spring latched on it. It is tasteful room, but it is not a nice one. She does not see at us at first. Her head is bent and looking into some kind of filing cabinet. Peach paint nails running over the folders. She's too in her own world to see us. She must spend so much time with teenagers looming in doorways, waiting for her next order, that she barely registers movement around her at all. And then she looks up. Eyes white and pale blue, sharp as a husky's. There's a moment of surprise, but not shock, not joy, but not displeasure either. Like she has just realized that there will be more people coming to her garden party than she expected, and she will have to wash extra jelly glasses. Maeve, she says softly. Aaron, welcome to the lodge. Or welcome back, I should probably say. Are you coming in? Everyone here knows the rules of magic. How we aren't stuck in a strange cosmic war of diplomacy. She can't hurt us or she'll lose her upper hand with the housekeeper. We'll be even for Heather, and she doesn't want us to be even. She wants us to be in her debt. She wants leverage. So in a way, there is really very little risk to step into the lodge. We won't be killed, but there are other things besides being killed to be afraid of. Things that Dory knows about. I look at Aaron. He knows her better, after all. He gives me a very slight nod. We step in. The door doesn't close and lock behind us. Bars don't come down. We are not stricken by magic paralysis. Sorry, it's my second language, but I do have dyslexia, so sometimes it's difficult. Dory simply points at two leather chairs and goes to sit behind the large desk. My two sensitives, Dory says, sitting back into her chair. Little diving rods. What are you doing, Dory? Aaron says. What's going on? She turns her body slightly, looks to the window. It's dark, with only the faint outline of trees. You'll have to be more specific. It's hard to know whether she's playing dumb or she's genuinely confused. We leave a silence, waiting for her to remember, and I start to speak. Kids are disappearing, I clarify, and you are going after St. Bernadette's girls now. What good is it to you, starving teenagers? She gives me a deep wounded look, as if she is too frequently misunderstood by people she tries to respect. I'm shocked that you think I would starve anyone. We have plenty of food here. Go to the pantry and help yourselves. I beg of you. Why aren't people eating then? They are choosing not to eat. They are fasting. You've heard of Lent, haven't you, Maeve? You must have grown up with it, going to school in Ireland. Lent, the glum, frigid period between Ash Wednesday and Easter. We all used to pretend to give up chocolate and make feeble attempts to raise money for the poor. It's not Lent, I say carefully. You are just trying to make people weak depend on your approval. Common misconception, she says swiftly. We don't take people who are feeble, Maeve. We take people who are malable. Now, I don't know what that means. I hope they describe what it is. A slight panic rings through me, mainly because the word feeble had just occurred to me when thinking about Lent, and now it's coming out of her mouth. It's an uncommon enough word that it makes me think she's reading my mind, subtly looking for a place to tie a string. What you have to understand, Maeve, is that bringing an individual into the children takes time and resources. If you are just going to buckle and break after 6 months, it's like throwing money out of the window. She turns towards Aaron, her nose slightly wrinkling. Speaking of throwing money out of the window, Aaron tenses. You got me for 3 years, Dory. You got a servant and a well. I think you did okay, he says, it all between his teeth, like showing his tongue might be dangerous. Dory smiles, her gums pink. I think you did okay, Aaron. Lovely home, unimaginable power, a little bevy of followers, a purpose, my word. What must it be like in the brain of yours now? Her grin is like a tiger. She keeps talking, poking and prodding. Sinners, witches, whores. Do you picture yourself as some kind of Christ figure, trying to save them, not passing judgment, loving them all? Hoping love will be your salvation? Or have you just accepted you are all going to hell? Made your peace with the flames? All that. Sinners, witches, whores. Is that what this woman thinks of us? And did Dory just call me a whore? You don't even believe in any of that, Dory, so I don't know what you are trying to pull. Anne spits back. Yes, but you do, darling, don't you? She knits her fingers together, her thumbs resting on top of each other, her sled dog eyes resting on Aaron. And, you know, they have done studies on this. It's easy to make someone believe something new. Isadora Manford suddenly slowly begins to lift her arm. It's like she's stretching, yawning. She starts circling her wrist, rotating it, her fingers spread, thin diamond bracelet jangling slightly. You know, to bolt a new detail onto an existing conviction, she continues. God hates witches. He must hate whores too. But it's very difficult to unwrite a belief altogether. So naturally, I'm very interested in your predicament, Aaron. Psychologically speaking, as she's saying that, she keeps curling her wrist around in circle like she's conducting a symphony. She starts to smile in delight, and I'm confused until I see what is happening to Aaron sitting next to me. He is doing the same thing, except he's not doing it willingly. His arm is being dragged up into the air, completely without his consent. He's trying to fight against it, his teeth clenched. This is Dory's power. I realize the puppet tear. But not me, though my hands stay in my lap. It's starting to make sense to me. Dory can control people, but only people she's got her hooks in, and her hooks are still in Aaron. Magically, psychologically, emotionally, she is hit there. You are one of those people, she says, still focusing on him who really looks like their name you know. Aaron is slightly trying to pull his arm from the sky. It remains fixed, firm, as if tied by an invisible rope attached to the ceiling. Aaron was Moses' silver-tongued brother, wasn't he? He could make anything sound good, the Bible's first spin doctor. She turns to me then. I imagine you are still at it, spinning silver with your little gang. What's the line? That he was led astray by big bad Auntie Dory? My fingers twitch involuntarily, and I can't tell if it's nerves or her power quietly slipping through threads around my hands. Traumatized, she volunteers, waking up on the bus next to that poor Matthew boy. That old song and dance. I hear Aaron's jaw click, like his back teeth are grinding together, but he doesn't speak. I am not sure if he can. Has he made you all feel sorry for him? She smiles, widely, deeply amused by this. The boy who went on national television to say, what was it? She gets up, and for some reason we are stuck to our chairs, mute like two children in the principal office. I lean slightly, though, and see the papers on her desk. There are a few forms handwritten, and obviously by teenagers. I can read a few of the printed questions upside down. When do you feel most unhappy? When are you the loneliest? Do you think your life would be different if you were different? But under the white paper there's the slight glow of red, blue and yellow. The determination of primary colours. I peer at it. Cards. There are tarot cards under there. Dory extracts a folder from her filing cabinet and opens it on her desk, clears her throat. Now, what was it you said, Aaron? Ah, here it is. I just think we need to be conscious of how young children are being sexualized. She pauses, looks at me, continues quoting. Why should a 12-year-old have to think about their gender or their sexuality? Is it naive to think that childhood should last a few more years? Dory puts the file down, rests her eyes on me. I know I agree, dear, but do you? Given your, romantic history. I remember the note then, the one that was designed to cause friction between Rue and me, between Aaron and Rue. This is what Dory fears most, I realize. Not just me, not just Aaron, but our combined power, the six of us working together. Dory may not be behind Fiona's TV show, but she nudged enough of Fiona into the public consciousness so that someone would be noticed her and take her away. She wants fractures. She needs them clearly to carry on with whatever comes next in her plan. A plan that must have been hastily cooked up because the housekeeper, for whatever reason, has not worked. This realization that Dory is resorting to plan B's makes her suddenly seem weak to me. It's enough to wrench the invisible string she has wrapped around my fingers. I don't see how you are in a position of authority, Dory, I say. The words come out hard and crisp. You can't even summon the housekeeper. It's been weeks. Where is she? Eh? Aaron's arm finally collapses back into his lap. I have broken Dory's spell, if only temporarily. There's a box of tissues on the desk, and I pick it up. Is she in here? I say, and Aaron actually laughs, but Dory's smile just grows wider. I have to thank you, Maeve, she says. Really, you know, when Aaron and Heather both failed at capturing this well, it forced me to spend more time here in Ireland. I mean, oh, I hated it at first. Of course, months in a provincial backwater where farmers are still killing each other with shovels, it's shocking. Somehow, to hear her talk like this, I've heard her dismiss all kinds of people, but never the country generally. But you know, she continues, the country air is good for me, I think, and the history is just fascinating. I'm learning so much all the time. My insides turn cold. What are you learning, Dory? What does she know? I keep my gaze steady, my mouth shut. The thing about you, Maeve, she says, turning her head to the side, is that you forced me to innovate. She pauses. How are you feeling, by the way? Any changes? Is such a shift in tone from how she spoke to Aaron. The surprise almost slaps me in on the side of my head. Her voice is gentle, maternal. The word changes, startles me. She has also noticed the thing, the inevitable alteration in me that Aaron has noticed. She moves her papers then, revealing the tarot cards underneath, the same simple Rider-Waite Smith we saw in Squirrel Girl's room. They are fun, aren't they? She says, holding up two. Two of Wands, the Page of Pentacles. What do you think that means, Maeve? I automatically decipher their meanings without saying them. Forward planning. The quest for knowledge. It would be if I knew where Lorna is, I replied, ignoring the cards in her hands. I know she left you your freaky cult, so where did she go? She looks quite bored now. I haven't the faintest clue, she says, waving her hand. The door starts to move, and at first I think there's someone behind it, but no, it's moving on its own. I think that means it is time for you to go. Dory says, much as I would love to trap you both in here and dig the marrow out of your bones, I have a meeting. I stand up. What's the point, Dory, of trapping all these kids here? How many times do I have to tell you that we are not trapping anyone? I remember Squirrel Girl and her strange wasted expression. You are vampires then, draining their magic, their life. Well, you could call an employer a vampire, couldn't you? She says, you work at that end of the day. You are tired. That's simple enough, isn't it? Aaron finally speaks as if he's only now capable, but people work in exchange for money, and they work in exchange for other things. Now I really must go. Do stay safe, you two. The door opens behind us, and we are looking into the corridor. And that was chapter 14. Wow. What do you think will happen? Has anyone given anything away? I'll leave that up to you. Take care.